Digital distribution's been a thing for a long time in the gaming scene. You can find history of this happening in the early 90s with video game demos. It's been an idea that's only gotten more viable as internet infrastructure has become more common and accessible. PC has had a really large digital gaming scene for a really long time. Steam's been a thing since 2003, and third-party devs were given access to distributing their games on Steam in 2005. Over 20 years of digital distribution, and Steam's been able to keep really strong consumer trust over the years. But why? Why is digital something so widely accepted on the PC market? The reason PC has never fully tripped the alarm on ownership rights with digital goods is because PC, by its core nature, is very backwards compatible and supported. The status quo of PC is a PC is a PC. There is no 5th generation PC release or, something like that. There are new games that come out that are going to be completely incompatible with old hardware, obviously. However, if you made a game for PC, that is the platform that it's on. Thanks to how wide open the platform is, with enough tinkering and dongles, you can get ancient games from the 80s and the 90s to work on modern hardware, and compatibility has only gotten better in modern games. Games released in the last 20 years will likely function flawlessly on any new machines, and this includes games bought through digital storefronts. So, a game that you picked up through Steam in the 2000s will likely work great. And if not, there are official patches and non-official patches made by community members that can get stuff running on modern hardware. Valve has done good to keep all your purchases available to you. Even if a publisher pulls a game off of the shelf, you can still download a copy if you have it in your library. And with all the support PC has, your game will theoretically work for an unlimited period of time. Consoles aren't like that. Consoles have been nice because it allowed companies and customers a chance to make video games more approachable. A company can manufacture a standardized game console with a specific set of hardware specs that developers needed to adhere to, and the physical media that they chose only had so much space to work with. Now, what this did was it allowed consoles to be made cheaper in mass, and it kept the price of the games within a reasonable amount, considering devs only had so much space and horsepower to work with. And as soon as technology evolves enough to make more powerful devices possible, they jump up to the next generation of consoles. The problem this creates is that consoles are designed as closed ecosystems. You can't tinker or upgrade them. I mean, at least an average Joe can't do that. I've seen some YouTube videos where people attempt to try and do that with, varying success. But aside from that, everything is controlled by the manufacturer, the publishers, and the devs. If you bought a game on that old system, that's where it stays. Unless updated by the developers for new hardware, and even then, that means that you have to go out and buy a new copy. Consoles got a pass for this, mostly due to the new hardware truly being a major improvement from the last model. Plus, you can't guarantee that a new console will have the ports needed to accept old games. What if a console manufacturer finds a way to make a game cartridge smaller, or make it more efficient? With CDs, that was a little easier to make backwards compatible, but even then, there could be changes in optical drives that could mess with reading old discs, and the change to x64 architecture from x86 could potentially make old games difficult or impossible to run. At the very least, you could take solace in knowing that if you bought a console and a game for said console, those units will run for as long as the hardware and the physical media hold together. And then digital became a thing. Digital on consoles been around for quite a long time, technically predating the Xbox, but it really got going during the Xbox 360 and the PS3 era. You would see games show up in digital storefronts, sometimes exclusively on digital storefronts. Not too long ago, the Xbox 360 digital store was shut down. This made people sad. However, many people gave it a pass, since no one was really using the 360 anymore, and most people considered the games on the digital store to be disposable arcade games. Most of the noteworthy titles ended up getting physical releases, so you could still pop a CD into your 360 and play your old games just fine. With the PS3, however, it had a lot more digital items available, like digital exclusive games and a lot of movies and TV shows. Sony recently removed a list of 551 movies from its store due to them no longer wanting to pay the licensing, and they have not offered any kind of refunds. And then they announced that they're closing the PS3 and the PS Vita stores altogether. And this stings a lot more, since it feels like those two events happened basically one after the other. It's really opened up the conversation about just how much of what you buy digitally you actually own. And very recently, Sony announced that they will no longer be manufacturing physical discs for consoles, meaning that the PS6 will likely come with no disc drive, so everything's gonna be digital. Given that Microsoft tried this exact same stunt for the Xbox One, I'm guessing that they will likely follow suit, since now they know that their competitor is doing the exact same thing. So, without being able to store and run your own physical copies of games, the console cycle seems to be moving towards being this. Buy a console. Buy a bunch of digital goods, said digital goods taking up a gigantic drive space, so you either need to suck it up and spend an obnoxious amount of money during this bullshit chip shortage for a massive drive to hold everything, or only install games that you need right away. Potentially lose any of those digital goods the moment that the console manufacturer or the publisher no longer wants it hosted on the digital store, maybe losing your ability to re-download that content entirely, the digital store eventually shutting down after about 10 years or so, which means you better download all that stuff right now or you're gonna lose it forever! Praying that your console will never malfunction or glitch, losing thousands of dollars of purchased content. No guarantee for refunds on your purchases, and no way of just taking these games off your shelf and playing them well after the console's relevant period. Yeah, not gonna lie, that sounds like a pretty raw deal. I don't think I want to invest in a console that's gonna sell me things that are destined to arbitrarily become vaporware in the not-too-distant future. So, if that's the industry's plan, count me out. I really do fear that one day PC is going to have a similar fate, and we're going to lose every digital experience that we've grown to love over the last 3 decades. But it's the most stable platform that I know. I mean, Steam is currently hard at work on SteamOS, a Linux distribution that aims to help port as much of Steam's game library out of Windows as possible, which... yes, please! On top of that, the PC indie scene has just exploded over the last decade, what with how much more approachable gaming has become. It's proven that anyone has the ability to make a game and distribute it, not just heavily funded AAA developers with massive marketing budgets. Now, I'm not saying that it is a guarantee of financial success, obviously. You don't automatically make multi-millions just because you made a game. In fact, many studios never get to see their creation make the waves that they hope for. Though, the same can be said about the AAA and console market too. Nobody has owned a hit. What I am saying is that my money and attention might as well go to folks that I respect more. And a scrappy indie looking to make something fun and heartfelt sounds a lot more appealing than a dev that's looking to maximize their profits on a game that they see as less of a product and more of a temporary service. And I definitely don't need to be paying for a console that's looking to make me own nothing and be happy about it. This is all a very long-winded way of me saying, if I start focusing on indies, old games, and mods, then you know why.